Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Transformers video, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Bumblebee. This also happens to be, as you can see, number 100 in the Studio Series line, which is pretty cool. But you can see right there, we got a real nice CGI render of Bumblebee on the box there. It doesn't really look too much like Bumblebee, I have to say there, but I think that's a pretty cool CGI render. Again, close-up of the face there, that looks a little bit more like what we saw in the Bumblebee movie. But on the back there, nice look at both him in his bot mode and his pretty cool looking off-road Camaro. 23 steps there. And what do we have for the little description? Volcano Showdown. Okay, well, guessing that's towards the end of the movie. On the other side, a little bit more of a pulled back shot. I really like this CGI shot of him there. Does look a little bit different here in the front though, but let's get this guy out of the package and see what he looks like up close. And here we have Studio Series Bumblebee in all of his glory. And first off, let's just take a look at this backdrop here. Really cool looking backdrop. Obviously, this is around the volcano. Kind of looks like it's going to be, or my prediction at least from the trailer, around where the final battle is going to be. And it does have some cool multi-layered tire tracks coming through here. So obviously, we got a bit of a party going on. But moving this out of the way here and bringing Bumblebee back into frame, I do have to say, this is probably my favorite sculpt of a Bumblebee figure we've gotten out of the Studio Series line yet. And I genuinely think this is a fantastic sculpt. The paint details, where there are some, I think it's a little 50-50. I think that the use of the silver looks great with the blacks and the grays. A lot of the detail does look great. But at the same time, it feels a little bit empty in a lot of other places. So bringing this guy up for a closer look here, focusing on that face and the paint application to the face specifically, a lot of just this shiny yellow plastic, which is pretty much what Bumblebee is, but it's a very reflective, shiny plastic. And I feel like with the choice they made of not really adding much eye detail other than making it these big, guppy blue eyes, I think it looks a little bit weird. And along with the fact that they did not paint the Autobot logo on his head any color, they didn't make it red, they didn't make it a black or noticeable at all. You can barely kind of see it there without having the figure in hand, while at the same time they've painted figures in the past in this way. But at this, and it's a little weird to me because they went crazy with the mouth detail. They did a great job with the silver paint here on the ears. They did a good job with some of the silver accents on the head, but they really did kind of, I feel like they got a little bit lazy without going the extra mile, finishing up a little bit of the touch up with the paint here. But this will probably be the first figure I ever full-on paint customize, because I feel like this figure could just look leaps and bounds better with just a little bit more paint application, maybe a little bit more weathering, but definitely touch up this head sculpt a little bit. And as you can see, my head sculpt is a bit like a bobblehead wobbling around, so that's really the only complaint I have with this figure. But other than that, I have no complaints. The sculpt itself is super, I want to say slim, but it's not necessarily slim, but it doesn't feel bulky. It's not rattling around like a lot of other Bumblebees are. It's not all clunky, so you can actually pose the legs in some decent positions without the legs compromising themselves by banging together too much. It really is just a really effective and sleek Bumblebee design. As you can see, it compresses pretty well. They're not too big of a backpack compared to how Bumblebee would be in the past, and I think they did a really good job of just cleaning up a lot of this wing and backpack area compared to a lot of the older models. But bringing this guy up close again, you can see they did a really good job with the sculpt here, all in the front of the grille, the car that transforms here. The lights you can angle however you want. I have them angled downwards a little bit instead of straightening them out for the transformation. But again, like I said a little bit earlier, they really did a little like 50-50 with this. It either looks really good with the sculpt and paint, as you can see with the silver in the arms here, all the way down into the forearms and the wrist, even into the fingers. They did a really good job, but at the same time it feels like a little bit unfinished almost, just because this yellow color is just so bright and reflective that it does make it look a lot more fake, quote unquote fake plasticky, than a lot of other figures with similar paint applications. But again, I don't want to sound like I dislike this figure by any means. I really do like it. But moving down further into the legs, you could just see how much detail is packed in more and more to the sculpt here. You can really see all of these car parts forming up here. And I do have to say, it is very similar to the Clunker Bumblebee in terms of transformation and mechanics and all that, but it is a new mold, as you can see here. This isn't, they're not reusing a mold. It's pretty unique and pretty new, and I think it really takes all of the minor flaws that Clunker Bumblebee had and really improves on them in a big way. But apart from really just all of the details, which I'm sure you can make out yourself by now, I'm going to show off some of the articulation now. So the arms can come all the way up like this. You can, of course, rotate them 360 degrees. I'm not going to go 360 that way, though. You can, of course, rotate the arms 360 degrees. You can get some pretty dynamic poses with them coming all the way in and out. The forearm is on another 360 degree rotation and another rotation here, so you have elbow rotation completely. You can pretty much do anything you want with these damn arms. The hands are the only thing that are not on a rotation. They do just have the standard deluxe built-in wrists that don't really swivel. So I mean, maybe if you wanted swiveling wrists, that's a little bit of a disappointment for you, but for me, really don't care. This Stinger blade option, he comes with his Stinger rifle, and then he comes with these kind of like mini swords. Literally, the Stinger blade rifle popped off, and I have no idea where it went, so I apologize for that. But this is his blade that can tab into his underbelly on vehicle mode, and also to tab it into his bot mode on either arm. You just take these two prongs, you pick an arm, and line up the two prongs, as you can see right there. Line them up, and it just tabs right in there, and you could put that on either arm, and it looks pretty good. I mean, it's the same color as everything else. Maybe could have used a little bit of detail, but it has some nice sculpting on it. So, and it looks pretty decent when you're posing around with it. I'm gonna personally leave it on at all times now until I can find that damn Stinger rifle, which tabs into his hand. But going back to articulation here, down here to the legs can come fully out, fully back, and fully out to the side there. You get a bend there at the knee that allows for some pretty decent 90-degree ankle rotation. The feet are fantastic on a 360-degree available rotation, as well as good ankle movement and rotation as well. So you could really get some more dynamic poses with this guy, moving his leg and feet around. But the head, as you can see, mine is super floppy, but the head can go all the way around either side. I really do wish my head was a little bit more secure, but it is what it is with that. I could probably take it off and add some kind of a paste or something underneath to add some more stickiness to it. But moving around to the back, the wings are obviously customizable. You could have his wings sprawled out to the side like so, or have them flip back a little bit like a classic Bumblebee look. These little tire sections can kind of just straighten out like that, or you could kind of fold them up into the arms a little bit. I think it looks good either way. But that is about it in terms of the robot mode. Let's get some comparisons in here now. So alongside our Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, here is Clunker Bumblebee from the buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series 2-pack with Barricade. And as well, here is Bumblebee Movie Blitzwing. This is a Voyager class figure, and as you can see, Bumblebee is nice and small as he always is, pretty much in scale with other Bumblebees. And that is the Clunker Bumblebee I mentioned that this guy kind of takes a lot of design inspiration from, and I think he really does improve in just about every way. Although I do have to say I prefer the kind of a more orange look with the Camaro. Not an orange, but more of an orange yellow compared to this bright plastic yellow. But other than that, really enjoy the upgrades in terms of the design. But again, you can really point out, you can really see there the head sculpt design on the Clunker Bumblebee compared to this one. It's kind of just night and day. Night and day. But going back to the general comparison, there is Blitzwing next to Bumblebee, and again, pretty scale accurate compared to the first Bumblebee movie, but yeah, looking really good. Now, for the transformation, first thing you want to do is obviously remove any of the accessories that you might still have on him. And first off, I'm going to focus on the legs down here. Now, first, you're going to want to open up this rear section of the car that kind of folds into the interior of the leg in robot mode and just kind of kick that back out there. And boom, that's the first step already done. Next, we're going to focus down here on these legs, and the legs are going to fold inwards like so. And at the same time, you're going to take the bottom of the heel piece here where you can see the rear of the car and fold that so that when you're pushing the rest of this up here for the foot, you can just fold this in here and tab that, click it right into place like so. So again, rotate the foot inwards and kind of start bringing it up and pressing it in, and then we'll kind of accordion in there itself, while at the same time flipping out this back light piece for the car and allowing that to click in. Now here, I find to be the most difficult part in the entire transformation just because these two little pegs didn't want to hook in for me here. But you're going to want to hook these two in underneath each other while tabbing the back in as well, which obviously isn't that hard, but I made it look easy right there. I had some difficulty with that, getting these two pieces together, but I would recommend forcing these two before clicking these bottom two, because sometimes they get a little bit rowdy trying to go together up here. But with that, you pretty much have the bottom of the car all done here. Now, I like to just straighten out a lot of this backpack here, bring out all of this that turns into the rest of the car, and you can just kind of leave that sitting there for now. I'm going to come back around here to the front of Bumblebee and just pull at this chest, straighten this out a little bit here, straighten out both of the sides of the front of the car here, and then pull at the chest, and this will just come up just like so, and you could literally just kind of see how this is coming together now. This whole piece is going to shift forwards and slide right into that gap in between both of the front headlights on either side, and now you can really see how this is coming together. You could start lining up these two pegs that go underneath the back half of the car here. And before actually we get too ahead of ourselves, let me come back underneath here. So the arms, you're going to ratchet them up on this joint right here. So bring them in like that while folding them down like so. Same thing on this side. Bring it up, fold it down, and that will allow you to close off the wheel cavities here. Tab them in to the top / front over here. Rotate it back around. Then we can tab the door into the legs here with this tab on the door and this tab on the outside of the leg here, and that will just lock right into place on either side. And then you could kind of do some finishing touches to angle everything really together here. Straighten out the arms, flatten them in there as tight as possible, and boom, there is Bumblebee transformed all up into his new off-road looking Camaro. Really nice looking vehicle mode. Oh, and finally, can't forget this. If you want to store his blade in vehicle mode, you rotate him right upside down here, and there is a peg right there towards the rear of the vehicle, which this top peg in the sword blade tabs right into. Like so. And that fits right under there, completely concealed. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia of the OG Camaro from the 2007 movie getting to me, but I am loving this vehicle mode. I think that this is pretty damn perfect, where they're taking the OG Camaro, paying homage to that 2007 movie, how he appeared in the beginning, Bumblebee, of course. They're taking this vehicle, and in a sense, transforming this vehicle, making it absolutely superior to the standard model. As you can see, it is pretty much just that Camaro model with a lot of... He went to Los Santos Custom Shop. He got those off-road tires. He's got a roll bar, roll cages. Got these nice headlights here. I wish they could add a little bit of paint inside of these, the black lights at the top here, and maybe a little bit of silver down here at the bottom to point out some more of those details. But really can't complain here. This vehicle tidies up really nicely. It rolls, of course, perfectly. Nothing's hanging on the ground. Nothing's really hanging out. You can kind of see the arms there from certain angles, but it really doesn't take anything away from the vehicle mode itself. The lights themselves are nicely detailed. The black stripes look fantastic as always. A little bit of nice red paint there in the rear with the black itself. And this is a pretty nice matte, more of a matte kind of tone black. It's not glossy, it's not shiny, and it looks really nice. And then of course you do have more of this grille detail on the back windshield. But that is pretty much the vehicle itself. And again, like I said, I think it really does look very, very good and a super simple and fun transformation. And just like we saw in the trailer, here is Studio Series Rise of the Beast Bumblebee next to Studio Series Rise of the Beast Cheetor. And I do think these guys look really good together, even if it's not the most screen accurate to what we saw in the trailer. They really do scale up super nicely next to each other, just kind of rotating the position here just so you could see a better view of how Bumblebee himself scales next to Cheetor there. Bring Cheetor out of here and bring Bumblebee next to Optimus Prime right here. Just trying to give you guys a good shot to show off the perspective of this guy. But Optimus Prime is a good bit bigger than Bumblebee, as he should be, and I do think that this is quite scale accurate, and I do think it looks really nice. And just to continue to complete that Rise of the Beast Autobot cast, here is RC next to Bumblebee. And as you can see, they all look great together. And to transform this guy back into his bot mode, I would first recommend you start with popping out these tires on either side right here. That will then allow you just to pull these arms out, pop them back on this joint again, a little bit of a click there, just to get them out of the way. Then of course, or you could have done this first, take that sword out from between the legs, tab his wings out here, and we're kind of just pulling this dude apart now. I'm going to flip it back around here and make sure that back is detached from the legs here, where you can kind of literally just pull those apart there. And just to bang the legs out of the way real quick, you literally just bring this back down like so, flatten that piece back out, rotate the leg forward, and close it off with this back section, which clicks closed. Again, rotate the foot straight down, flatten out the foot piece, rotate the foot forward, and close that leg back off. Now your legs are back to being transformed. Focusing back up on this top section, we're literally just going to pull this top cabin, you're going to pull this top cabin up. I find it easy if you just kind of put your fingers on either side of, or kind of pretty much just do what I'm doing here, where you put your thumbs on the top of where the lights are here, and your two index fingers, you kind of just pull this entire section back a little bit. And then once this kind of gives way, you can shift the chest back down, click that into place, and you're kind of just folding up the back now, folding up the back, bringing this down a bit, folding that up one last time actually. Yeah, this definitely does fold one more time. So you're going to fold the windshield part inside there, and this is all going to compress pretty nice and tight. And once that clicks, you're all set. You're just kind of tidying up the figure to your own liking now. Make sure everything is nice and straight, and boom, there is Bumblebee all transformed back into his really brilliant looking robot mode. Taking a final look at Studio Series Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, I do have to say that for this guy sitting at the nice low deluxe price of $24, I would highly recommend picking him up now while you can, because obviously these toys will be on shelves in stores for a few years, but I would recommend picking up this guy now while you can, before they start pumping out those new waves when the movie comes out, because I'm sure this guy will indeed sell fast, both in kids being a fun toy and collectors being an extremely customizable figure itself. I do have to say, out of all of the Studio Series Bumblebees who I've gotten so far, this one is probably my favorite, and I would say this one is the best. It stands up straight, the joints aren't all floppy, the wings are the most customizable and least annoying to fiddle with, and I really do think this is a super enjoyable, great figure for the value. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Bumblebee here. Let me know what you think about him in the comments below. Likes, comments, anything is appreciated. Let me know down below. And until next time, peace.